let me show you, genuinely, how many cards I want to put into my Sultai deck right now. That's like 25, 30 cards. 28 cards. How am I supposed to do that? You know, you look through them. You go Witherbloom Command. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that one. Tyvar. You really can't go bad with Tyvar. He's always fun. But then you get to Kellen Inquisitive Prodigy, whose adventure lets you investigate, then play an additional land, and whose actual creature side destroys artifacts when he attacks. So, this thing has card draw, mana ramp, and removal, all on one card. So, not only is this a killer card, it just opened up 2 new deck slots for me, because now I can take out one of my cards that only mana ramps, one of my cards that only destroys something, and one of my cards that only draws me cards, and I can replace it with Kellen. We got a lot of deck space. I have collected a ton more of these cards that maybe won't do all 3 like Kellen does, but provide multiple of these effects, whether it be card draw, removal, mana ramp, and will open up deck slots for you. Let's jump right into this video with Parting Thoughts. For 2 and a black, we can destroy target creature at sorcery speed, but we also lose X life and draw X cards for each counter that was on that creature. Ooh, yeah. Tons of stuff has counters, like tons. We got indestructible counters. Pretty much every keyword has a counter now. 1/1 counters, neg1 counters. The latter of all of those being extremely common in a commander pod. Not to even mention, like, if your own commander just has a lot of counters on it at any given point, like, let's say Gave Guru Spores, this just might be a good, like, self-destruct button. Like, if someone tries to kill Gave, you're just like, worst comes to worst, I'll just Parting Thoughts my own Gave and draw 5, 6, 7 cards. But a removal spell that provides card draw, can't go wrong with that. This reminds me of, like, Dregs of Sorrow, I think is what it was called. The one that, like, removes multiple creatures and then draws you a card for each creature removed. That one's, you know, a little expensive, but maybe if you're in the right deck, like the new Tyval deck, maybe that would like a Dregs of Sorrow. But Parting Thoughts kind of seems like a more upgraded, more reliable version of that card to me. And most importantly, this bad boy will open you up a slot in your deck. Now, I said all these aren't going to provide all 3 effects like Kellen does, but some of them do. Priest of the Forgotten Gods is 1 and a black for a 1/2. You can tap her and sack 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life, sacrifice a creature, and you add 2 black to your mana pool and draw a card. This provides a sacrifice to opponents, which you could consider as removal. It adds you 2 black mana, and it draws you a card, filling all 3 slots. Not to mention, it's also a sack outlet, so maybe you have a card that's just being a sack outlet roll in your deck. You could take out that card, a mana ramp card, card draw card, and a removal piece, all for Priest of the Forgotten Gods, and open up a lot of deck space. Actually, I need to pick one of these up immediately. I just switched over to the new Taval, the balance scale, and this is nuts. This will help a lot with opening deck space. Maybe you're not into that side of the color wheel. Well, we've got you with Prismari Command, being 1, a blue, and a red for an instant, with Choose 2. Choose 2 is always a good start for a card that can do multiple of these effects. Have target player draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Have target player create a treasure token or destroy target artifact. This one's really good. It provides double removal because it can destroy something small with the 2 damage, or it can destroy target artifact. Also, kind of mana ramps with the treasure token, and pseudo card draw looting with the looting. And keep in mind, this is all for casual. I feel like I have to, like, say that before anybody gets to the comments. It's almost like when I come up with, like, something really funny to say to somebody, but it's a little bit mean. I kind of have to be like, I kind of have to say it and then be like, yeah, but I live with my grandma and I'm super fat and I'm actually out of shape and I sit in my room all day. You know what I mean? I have to kind of like Eminem and I have to Slim Shady them. I have to get it out before they get it. I'm like, yeah, I live in a trailer with my mom, and that seems to take care of the problem. And while we're talking about taking care of problems, let's keep talking about taking care of the problem of opening up some deck slots by talking about cards that fill multiple roles. Also, be sure to comment any cards that popped into your head that can fill multiple of these roles. Up next, we've got Staff of Completion for anyone, being a 3-drop artifact that can tap to pay 1 life, destroy target permanent we own. It could also tap, pay 2 life to add 1 mana of any color, tap, pay 3 life to proliferate, or tap, pay 4 life to draw a card, and you can pay 5 mana to untap it. So it definitely provides card draw, and it definitely provides mana ramp. It's also a little mini sack outlet because you can destroy your own permanents. This is like the hallmark child. This is like the poster boy of take a couple cards out of your deck and just replace it with this 1 card. Staff Scrape. So Loot the Pathfinder, it's a little on the nose, Wizards. All the other ones that do all three, you kind of hit it. You hit it a little bit. You weaved it into some cool text and like made it like, oh wow, this does kill all. This does do all three. This one just like straight up. What if we put all three of those things on a commander? Well, here you go. For 2, a green, a red, and a blue, we get a 2/4 double strike, vigilance, haste with exhaust. Pay a green and tap it to add 3 mana of any one color. Exhaust, pay a blue and tap it, draw 3 cards. Or exhaust, pay 1 red and tap it. Loot deals 3 damage to any target. So, what is exhaust? It means you can only activate each of these only once. Problem with that is, if you blink loot, he counts as a new instance of loot, so you can just do all 3 of those again. Like I said, all 3 of the things you need to be doing, mana ramp, card draw, removal, stapled onto a commander, even if it's not your commander and you're in Tamir, throwing this into your deck will probably open up some card slots, I would assume. I also heard this guy was a Famorei on my Discord, like the big giants. Maybe I misread that thing. Oh, you've never heard of it? You never heard of Famorei? We'll fit more of these. Anyway, loot's pretty good. We already talked about Kellen, but if you want to get a more HD, look at the guy. I mean, who wouldn't? Moving over to Insidious Fungus, this is one that I run a lot. Pretty much all my green decks have an Insidious Fungus in it, and you'll see why. For 1 green, we get a 1/2 that you can crack for 2 to destroy target artifact, or destroy target enchantment, or draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. This is definite removal, definite mana ramp, not really card draw, but card replacement, which is still useful, but will definitely get put into your deck, and I think you could take out maybe like a Rampant Growth and a Naturalize if you're still running cards like that. They're doing like one-minded things like that. Throw an Insidious Fungus in there, drop those 2, open up a card slot. Referring back to the loot thing, speaking of commanders that just have all the things you want to do stapled onto them, Freigh Landalor's Fury. Forgot how good this was. It's a really old commander. Really good for how old it is. 3 and 2 green for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. Her +2 creates a 1/1 red elf druid with tap, add 1 green. Her +2 just makes a Landalor elf, which is awesome. Her -2 destroys target artifact or enchantment, and her -6 draws you a card for each green creature you control. Mana ramp, removal, card draw, right down the line. She can be your commander. Even if she's not your commander, 5-drop planeswalker that will be able to ult 2 turns after she comes out to draw you a ton of cards and provide a steady stream of tokens, mana dorks, elves if you're in an elf deck. She definitely is going to open up a few slots in your deck. Which begs the question, with this many options, why are we running such single-minded cards ever? And it also begs the follow-up question. If it's the only road he ever knew, how did he know it was a lonely one? Moving over to Broken Bond, for 1 and a green, we get a sorcery speed, destroy target artifact or enchantment, but it also lets you put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So a Naturalize that got bumped down to sorcery speed, but also has a Explore stapled onto it. I mean, the additional land part anyway. I don't think this is the best one on the list. I definitely think this will be an upgrade for some people watching, so I do think this provides value. If you're still running Naturalize, if you're still running maybe even like a Rex Sage, if you're not in a creature-based deck, you're more in like a spell-based deck, you could throw in a Broken Bonds instead, and also take out a mana ramp card. While you're at it, open up some slots. Feels nice. Not really a shocker that a lot of planeswalkers will provide multiple of these. The problem is finding a planeswalker that doesn't have an insane mana cost that provides these, that can actually stick around. Freigh is good because she provides the Landalor elves, which most of the time will be able to protect her, or at least prevent people from swinging at you. But in the case of Domri Anarch of Bolus, I think he comes out early enough that he might be safe off that alone, and I do think in certain decks he provides like a ton of value. So for 1, a red and a green, we get a 3 loyalty planeswalker with just a status effect of creatures you control get 1/0. So like Domri is just an anthem at his worst, while his +1 adds a green or a red to our mana pool, and creature spells we cast this turn can't be countered, which one seems kind of strong in CEDH. I don't play CEDH, but like anything that says like can't be countered, I assume would like maybe be used in some decks. But in casual, hell yeah. Those Esper decks and stuff, you're not countering my stuff. All right, get out of here. While his -2 has one of your creatures fight something else. So removal. So at its worst, this guy is just a 3-drop mana rock anthem, which, I think is actually pretty good. That also makes your creature spells unable to be countered. It's not even the creature you use that mana on. It's just the rest of your turn, your creatures can't be countered. If you've got like a 5-drop commander, I think Domri's insane because you can just turn 3 Domri, Turn 4, float the mana, play your land, play your commander, commander can't be countered. Turn 4, have your commander fight something at the table. You know what I mean? Like, the play pattern with Domri seems really good as well. On top of, obviously, what we're talking about, being mana ramp and removal, he'll open up slots in your deck as well. Piers Whim is another one that I've definitely seen, because I've seen the, like, Monsters Inc. jokes and stuff, the Sully joke, or not Sully, Mikey, whatever his name is, about this blue dude on the art. Never really read the card. Really good card. For 3 and a green, we get a sorcery. For each player, choose friend or foe. Each friend searches their library for a land card, not a basic, any land, and puts it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles their library. Each foe sacrifices an artifact or enchantment they control. One really good political piece. The guy that's ahead, you can be like, hey, you got a land that you really want to, like, bash this other guy, dude? As long as you don't swing it at me, I'll let you get that land. Other 2 guys, you guys are both going to be sacking stuff. Me, I'm going to be tutoring up a land. So it's mana ramp and removal, stapled onto a 4-drop. It's super versatile because you can switch how you're divvying it out each game. I also like cards with weird flexibility. So like just for an example, if you have like a Solemn Simulacrum, there is like a weird world where if you need to dig for one more card, that's like the top card could win you the game, but you just need that last card draw. You could Piers Whim yourself as a foe and sack your Solemn to get the card draw. I just like cards with like weird flexibility like that as well. But more importantly, mana ramp and removal. I think it's great. Palace Jailer's one that I think kind of lost a lot of people's respect when it got bumped down to uncommon. I still think this is a great card. For 2 and 2 white, we get a 2/2 that pretty much just Fiend Hunters something. When it enters, you exile target creature, and then when Palace Jailer leaves, they get that creature back. But also when it enters, you become the Monarch, which provides a card draw at the end of your turn. So if you're in a more defensive deck, like maybe a Pillow Fort deck running like Crawl Spaces and Ghostly Prisons, Monarch becomes a really good source of card draw because once you have it, more likely than not, people aren't going to hit you again. Or in just like a flat out control deck, again, where people probably aren't going to be hitting you as much. Creatures won't be seeing the table as much. Even outside of that, I think this is a pretty decent card if you're just like in a more like mid-power casual game commander play group. Just a 4-drop creature removal in the form of exile, which is always good. That also makes you the Monarch. Provides a steady stream of card draw. Also introduces like Monarch to the table, which is always good because you're not going to be getting swung at all the time. Other people are going to have Monarch. They're going to be targeted. It really divvies out damage around the table when Monarch's introduced, which is nice. I like this card a lot. I've liked this card since it came out. I think it came out in Conspiracy, if I'm not mistaken, but I might be wrong. My personal favorite on the list is Luran of the Third Path. I run this card in everything. Every deck that I run that has white that can run Luran runs Luran. For 2 and a white, we get a 2/1 Vigilance that destroys an artifact or enchantment when it DTBs. So essentially we get a Rex Sage with Vigilance. But you can also tap her to have you and target opponent draw a card. So removal, card draw, on a body. Also introduces politics to the table, which we've talked about a couple times, is really strong. One of the only times I will ever say introducing politics to the table is going to end with a better game night. Moving on to Flame of Anor, we've got 1, a blue and a red for an instant that lets you choose one. If you control a wizard as you cast this spell, you may choose 2 instead. What's cool about that is as you cast this spell, so if someone like, oh, I'm going to remove that wizard, nah. I controlled it when I cast it. Good try, buddy. I still control the wizard. I can still choose 2. Target player draws 2 cards. Target player destroy target artifact, or Flame of Anor deals 5 damage to any creature. This is insane. Drawing 2 cards for 3 mana, that's quick study right there. That's never bad. It also says, hey, you want a Shatter stapled onto that thing, and a Flame Seer stapled onto that thing for 3 mana. If you control a wizard, you get to do 2 of them. I don't mean to sound like my best pickup line, but it's time to open up those slots, baby. Back on the note of commanders that can provide multiple of these, we've got Tivet, Seller of Secrets, for 3, a white, a blue, and a black, at a 6/6 flying ward 3. When it enters or deals damage to a player, starting with you, each player votes for evidence or bribery. For each evidence vote, you get a clue token. For each bribery vote, we get a treasure token. And our votes count twice. So we're almost always going to vote for the treasure one. Sometimes we do the draw one. Treasure one's really good. And the opponents are almost always going to vote for the draw one. So most of the time when this hits play, you get 3 clues and 2 treasures. And then every time it attacks, you get 3 clues and 2 treasures. The art also really scares me. I don't know what Tivet's mom and dad look like. Don't want to. And then finally, we're going to end off with a newer card from Dragonstorm of Tarkir. We've got Herd Heirloom for 1 and a green. It's an artifact that can tap to add 1 mana of any color that you can only spend to cast creature spells. It also can tap and give target creature with power 4 or greater trample until end of turn, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So card draw and mana ramp, stapled onto a 2-drop mana rock. If you're in a creature deck, really good. So all you guys in a creature deck, get this guy going. And for all you guys not a part of the Patreon, consider joining the Patreon. It starts as low as $1. It really does help out the channel a ton. Make sure to drop some of the cards that you like running that provide multiples of these roles, or maybe even other roles. Maybe you're a graveyard player and you're like, hey, I like this card because it fills your graveyard, brings stuff back, and destroys something. If you plan on ordering any of these cards, please consider using my TCG Player affiliate link down in the description. Again, helps me out a ton. Also, be sure to give this video a share. I think getting the video out to some of your guys' community and some of your guys' friends will really help the channel out a ton. So if you could do that, that would be really, really appreciated. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And with that, I'm going to get out of your hair, and I'll see you guys in the next one.